What's up guys, Justin here with the CGEssentials.com. So in today's video we're going to check out an awesome add-on for adding crystals to your models in Blender. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so CrystalKit is a brand new add-on from the guys over at AssetKit. You might remember them from the TrashKit add-on that I did a little while ago that allows you to add and scatter trash. That, for whatever reason, I really enjoyed that add-on. It was a really good tool for scattering garbage in your Blender models. Well, this is a new asset kit from them that specifically uses geometry nodes in order to generate realistic looking crystals. So a little bit niche, but if you need something that can do that, this could be a great fit. All right, and so when you download this, it's going to come with a folder that looks like this, and you're going to take that folder and you're going to unzip it. Remember, this is an asset pack. It's not an add-on, meaning that it's using assets and geometry nodes, so you need to extract those and then link to them in your asset library. All right, and so once you do that, you're going to have a folder that looks like this. And what you want to do is you want to go into your Edit, Preferences, and you want to go into your File Paths, and you want to add this as an asset library. Now you can append these separately, which we'll talk about in a minute, but for now we're just going to add that CrystalKit folder and use it as our asset library file. And then I usually set this to append rather than link, so that when I bring these in, they're not linked together. But that's kind of up to you. But then you can save your preferences and we can view these inside of the asset browser. So if we jump over into Blender and we look in the asset browser under CrystalKit, notice how that's going to have all of your individual crystals in here that it's going to use in order to scatter along the surface. And so what we want to do, if we want to bring these in, is this is the geometry node setup right here. Well, if I drag this into my scene right here, it's going to basically add all of those crystals to your scene. And so notice how you want to uncheck the option for instance in here. So we want to uncheck this right here so that these get brought in as individual objects. Then I'm just going to take them, I'm going to deselect my sphere. I'm just going to move these off to the side over here so they're in my scene. Okay, and so as a secondary method, if you do want to get these in, you can use the append method as well instead of using the asset browser. So if you go to File, Append, and then you go find that blend file that's in that folder, and then you can just go up into Collection, and you can just bring in that CrystalKit GeoNodes collection right here. So that's going to append that to your folder. So if you don't want to use the asset browser, you can do that this way as well. And so you do have a collection of all different kinds of crystals in here, right? So you've got kind of like the whiter crystals, you've got crystals with a little more color, and they've got a fair amount of detail in here. One of the cool things about this is they're going to look like they're refracting light as well. So just note that there's a lot of detail, and these actually look really good just from a detail of the crystals standpoint. So now these are in our scene, and our geometry node setup can reference them. So not only have we brought these in, but it also brings in this object right here, which has the geometry node setup applied to it. Well, now, because that's in our model, we can actually link back to that by adding a modifier to our object. So now that we've done this, what we can do is we can select the object that we want, go into our modifiers tab, and we want to add a geometry node setup to this. And specifically, we want to click on the drop down and we want to go with the AK CrystalKit Geo Nodes. So what that's going to do is that's going to apply the CrystalKit geometry node setup to this object. And notice how it's done that in a way where we can access the attributes of the object right here. And so there's a few different things that we're going to want to adjust in order to get more or less crystals scattered on this surface. So first off, you've got your density, which is going to allow you to set how dense this is. Now you're going to want to couple this with some other things. So for example, you want to adjust your Z contrast. That's going to give you the ability to get objects spread further along this object right here. But then the patchiness is going to allow you to set how big those patches are right here. So notice how I can adjust this in order to get those. The lower the patchiness is, the more it's going to apply the crystals to your object. And so note that you can, in the geometry node settings, also shift where the patches are using the patches shift option in here. So this gives you a lot of control over where the crystals are going to be placed on your object. Okay, and so say that you wanted to shift the makeup of this, right? Because right now it's using these crystals right here as kind of the primary crystals. Well, the way this is set up, what this does is this is picking one of a few different kinds of crystals in here for the primary type. I think there's 7 options total, but if you wanted to change the primary or secondary crystal types, you can just adjust this value right here. And so notice what it's doing is it's picking different crystal types in here. So if you wanted to pick these that have kind of the flatter sides right here, you could do that. Now, one thing you might be noticing is this is pretty uniform at the moment. Well, what you can do is there's a few different material types in here as well, and you can select the different material types in here. So notice how I can set those primary crystals to be a different color like this. And then you can still shift and adjust this. But the cool thing is, say that I didn't want to do that for the first crystal, right? Say I wanted to bring this back to normal, you could do that for the secondary crystals as well. So you can click on the option for secondary, enable. And what that's going to do is that's going to add a secondary crystal in here that's being scattered. And we can adjust things like the height, the width, other things like that in here. But notice how I can add those secondary crystals in here based on that other type, and then I can adjust the material, right? So we can set it so it's got kind of this darker piece right in here, and then we can adjust the size on those as well in order to kind of get them to be the size that we want. So we've also got the base objects. So the base objects are going to be the ones that sit on the very base, right? So down here at the bottom, you can see how these are the base crystals. You can adjust the scale of those right here to make them bigger or smaller, but those are kind of the smaller crystals that are in here. Okay, and so you can also use curves to set where your objects go, right? So if you go up into your collections, there's an option in here for paint and add curves here. So if I select this curve right here and tab into edit mode, and then I'm gonna go ahead and set this to surface and select the option for draw. But if I draw in here, notice how this is gonna allow me to use curves in order to set where the crystals are going to go, like this. You do want to make sure in your settings down below that you've checked the box for use brush curves. Now, notice how if I uncheck the box for brush curve invert, what that's going to do is that's going to set this so that it erases crystals where your curves are. So you can use these 2 options in here in order to set where your crystals go. And so down below, there's an option for animation. And if you check the box for animation auto, what that's going to do is that's going to automate an animation of the crystals growing on your surface like this. So you can use this to actually create animations of crystals growing on an object if you decide that you want to do that. There are some settings in here that you can adjust having to do with the animation patch size and speed if you want to do that as well. But if you want to create those animations of crystals, that's going to be a good option. Okay, and so there's also a collection in here for manual animation. So if you check the box for animation manual, and then you place your object in this collection, right? So I created this cube right here. Notice how as I move this cube along here, it's going to animate that crystal growth based on where the cube is. So you can use this to manually create that crystal growth animation. All right, so one other thing to be aware of is when you're rendering this, it's really only a cycles rendering tool, and it's partially having to do with the way that these refract the light. You just can't really simulate that in Eevee. But one thing to be aware of is if you are rendering these and you've got a new file, right? You're not using the example file, this one right here where the lighting's already set up. You do want to make sure that you go into your render properties under cycles, and you want to go over into your light paths right here, and you want to make sure that you set your volume bounces to at least 3. That's going to allow the light to actually bounce around inside of the crystals themselves. Now note that because this is refracting light, it is pretty heavy when it's generating these renderings, but on the flip side, they should look really good when you're rendering them, assuming that your lighting is set up properly, because it is using those light bounces. So just make sure that in your light paths under max bounces, you've set that to at least 3. So overall, if you're looking for a tool to generate crystals procedurally, this could be a good fit. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about CrystalKit or any of Asset Kit's asset packs. I just love having that conversation with you guys. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.